Well, yeah.
There's not even like.
Thanks, so I'm okay to burn Sony to a crisp right now because of Sony Cycle, right?
This podcast is also sponsored by Hanami.tv, where you can find 1080p hentai for free. Visit Hanami.tv today to get your free unlimited hentai featuring titles such as Black Bible, Night Shift Nurses, Shushunki Shoujo, Resort Boin, Tropical Kiss. Yeah, hope you guys visit Hanami.tv soon. Yes. That's my show.
And the mobile app is just totally awesome.
The mobile app.
But
Does it run on tablet?
It does. It runs on tablets, runs on Switch, runs on PS4, runs on Xbox 360s, or runs on PS2 if you can get the internet working on the PS2. Runs on PS4s, runs on Xbox Ones, runs on your PC. Amazing, right? Runs on Macs. Amazing. Runs on Linux if you have Internet Explorer.
I did not hear my Vita there.
You can watch it in the bathroom.
Don't make me cry.
Then you can watch Hanami.tv from anywhere. And imagine what you can watch on the plane if you have it a video saved from Hanami.tv. You can watch it in the car. You can watch it in the bathroom. You can watch it next to your sister. You can watch it in your mom. You can watch it with your dad. You can watch it anywhere you want. Yeah, Hanami.tv is fantastic. But yeah, getting on to E3 2019, gentlemen.
Do you want to talk about like the weirdness of this year? Because 2019 is gonna be kind of odd. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I guess for those who don't know.
Show-wise.
I mean, I'm talking about mostly Sony just not being there.
Yeah.
Because they had a weird E3 last year, and then they're just piecing out for this year. But their games are still going to be there, which is a little odd.
Yeah, games like Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, Last of Us 2. Did Cyberpunk make an appearance at Sony? I forget.
No, it was the end of Xbox. It looks like they hacked into the Xbox like press conference at the end.
Do you think? Do you know why? How they said specifically why? I haven't followed too much on.
Let me look it up. Why Sony's?
From my memory, it sounded like they said they don't need to be there, which I kind of agree. Like they're kind of on top for now, so that they can afford to miss a year.
So I have the quote. I have the quote. It says,
go.
PlayStation fans mean the world to us, and we always want to innovate, think differently, and experiment with new ways to delight gamers. As a result, we have decided not to participate in E3 in 2019.
What? What? Why was there an acceptance?
We're all about innovation, but we're not going to go to the most innovative show.
So Sony's been doing this since like freaking PSX as well. Like PSX 2017, they didn't show because
they didn't show at 2019 either. No, 2018, right? Yeah. There was no PlayStation experience at 2018. Yeah.
Oh,
no
like at the show.
Yeah.
There was no PlayStation experience at all.
Yeah, last year.
I think
disappointed.
This kind of goes back to the thing that's going on with a lot of the studios. Like, they're all just dipping E3 venue and the convention center and just going to different locations that they control. So we have EA Play, we have Microsoft stuff in the Microsoft Theater. That's about it. I can't think of any other ones.
We don't have anything else really pulling, but I believe we have some interesting people showing up to E3, like Verizon and AT&T are having their own stall at E3. It's weird.
Huh.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Are they promoting Wi-Fi?
I don't know.
Because Wi-Fi 6 is coming out. I mean, that kind of makes sense.
Well, and also 4G will probably be making a big old push too, but
that's true.
It could also be leading more into mobile gaming environment.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that.
Because I do know that there is that. Because there is a Razer gaming phone.
That's true. Has anyone had experience with that? Too. Has anyone actually have experience with like the Razer gaming phone or like a gaming phone?
I feel like there were a few pushes for that earlier on. I mean, we still remember, what is it, the Nokia, the N-Gage, which is like that weird taco-shaped phone. That was also like a gaming system. It's been a thing that's been pushed, but it's never really taken off.
Oh, that thing looks disgusting. I'm gonna put that on the server. Hold
on.
This thing looks
I personally owned a Sony Xperia Play. I won it actually at E3 for a Minecraft thing. It was the worst phone I've ever owned. And I've had a lot of bad phones. It was terrible. Android 2.3, drop support, Verizon exclusive. It ran emulators cool, and it was nice to have a D-pad and like semi-touch capacitive analog sticks, but like it ran like toast. It was awful.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Wait,
Go
that's your
ahead.
phone? The picture that he just posted?
That is the Nokia
that's
N-Gage. That is the Nokia N-Gage, not the one that S94 was talking about. But this is the one that Christian was talking about. This is horrible. This is horrid. This is like a kill me now phone. Oh god.
Both players on Battlegrounds going mobile, and I think Fortnite went mobile too, didn't it?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it did.
mobile games are pretty big. I think they might make more money than like traditional console PC games, just because their market's so huge. And in some areas, it's the easiest way to get games to play with.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some good mobile games out there. I know the general thought is like there's a lot of shovelware, which there is, but a lot of good games are like being made on mobile devices.
Azure
I think
Lane.
it's just what?
Azure Lane.
Oh god.
Am I late? Oh, I don't.
Let me pull up a photo of this freaking Spectre. Oh god.
And also, Sino Alice is actually coming to localization this month or next month, I think. So that's made by Yoko Taro, or at least changed by
Ooh.
Yoko Taro.
If there's a game made by Yoko Taro. Wait, what's the game called?
Sino Alice.
How do you spell that? Like S-E-N-O?
You should put it up.
Xeno
Maybe we'll find it.
It's a gacha game? That's what I'm being told. Xeno Alice is a gacha game?
Azure Lane? Yeah.
Oh no, Xeno Alice is what I'm understanding.
Ah.
I can see Azure Lane already
It's
being a
a-
gacha game, yes.
It's a Nexon game, so
Oh,
let's see if I can find it.
next on Yoko Taro. Oh, Xeno Alice. Okay, I see it. Oh yeah, I can definitely see the Yoko Taro art style in this. If only
And I think there was a promotion for Assault, actually.
huh.
Do you guys want to get on to the main games, like
Yee,
the
the
big
meats.
games,
Mm-hmm.
The
meaty
Mm.
games? Cool.
I guess first things first is like, is there any game that anyone is like super excited for, like Borderlands 3? You know,
Just in general or at E3?
I think
both, yeah.
in whichever one.
You know, like the
'Cause
these are
also-
like the big penis games. These are like the take me down, the bend me over, and like take me from behind games. You know, like Death Stranding, the game we've been waiting for so long, and we finally
For
know
so long,
nothing
yeah.
about it still.
I mean, some people are pushing things together. There's like connections being made.
Oh no!
I feel like the last trailer that came out this week showed a lot, and it's, to me, I'm super hyped. Like, I actually am trying to go into the camp of seeing less of the game now
Mhm.
because I just want to go in blind.
Yeah,
I mean,
But,
the trailer is like 9 minutes and it still doesn't explain anything. I mean, it explains a little bit, like, I guess the lore of the story of like how it's like post America, and it looks like whatever happened, it looks like the main point of the game is that you have to do something to, I guess, save America.
Mhm.
But other than that, it's like we don't know much about the black gunk that he was interacting with. We don't know why he carries the baby. And like, I guess
The
what
other
happened.
world thing going on, like that connection. There's always, I don't know, this game has been pushed as like being very unconventional. And
Weird. It's a Kojima game. It's freaking
yeah,
weird.
and that's exciting. Me and Brian were watching. Oh, God. I was just saying that me and Brian were watching that's okay. We were watching the last fight of Metal Gear Solid 4, and just the way that they blend in every previous game before, and they mix gamey and non-gamey things together. I mean, with Death Stranding, I feel like a lot of us are getting divided that Kojima is just letting go of all the, like, any restraint he's ever had and just going full weird and mean.
It's like Konami was a freaking collar on Kojima, and he was like, "Fuck this shit. I'm gonna be as weird as I want." I'm gonna just put a baby inside Norman Reedus, because even though he's my homie, I'm gonna make him pregnant, and I'm just gonna see what everyone says about that, and I don't care. And people are just eating it up.
From my understanding, from him explaining it's kind of like the main theme is connection. So what Norman Reedus is supposed to be doing is trying to reconnect the world. And
interesting.
I'm trying to explain as best to my understanding. Like, I was watching a video on it, and it actually kind of made sense. Is that he feels that humans are disconnected from themselves because of what seems like the internet, and what basically we want in the game. You're supposed to connect to other people and have other people. And like your interactions is like Dark Souls, where you're not indirectly interact with them, but you'll see someone in a camp.
Hello?
And then they'll eat something. And then you'll see that. Like that's the connection, that feeling.
That's gonna be
I'm
weird.
trying to remember like the full details.
No, that's
it's
chill,
really weird.
I've heard the connection stuff a lot. I mean, I feel like he's like going about that in a lot of different ways, also mechanically, because they keep on saying how like killing has repercussions, like, and then when your death is not a traditional game over, it's like a bit like Dark Souls, where you respawn. It looks like you're respawning to the other world, like in Stranger Things. There's like the Upside Down, and maybe that's a place where gameplay interactions in the normal world are affected. And so it's like a balance between both. And I mean, people, a lot of this is like armchair, like design, trying to put things together based on what we have.
Okay, so bear with me. Can you imagine this kind of gameplay? Let's say you're Norman Reedus, and then you get killed in the game, and then you get put into the next world, but you respawn and you play as the little, like, baby. And you're just walking around as like a little baby in this dark world. Like, I don't know if if that's okay with like regulations or anything, but
well, it's the baby's more, they're genetically made, and they're like the anchor to it's basically a purgatory kind of world where no one can technically die, and they're stuck in this world, and their souls are attached to that purgatory. And this is again armchair stuff, at least from my understanding. But like the baby's the anchor, and you take the baby if you want to go into the world, or if you die, and then you have that baby on hand. That basically leads you out of the world to get out of there. Otherwise, you're stuck and you turn into that green goop. Because it seems like what that goop is just people's souls stuck in this elaborate alien hell.
That's why you're seeing. Is that why you see like invisible handprints and footprints?
Well, I think those are the BTs, right? Yeah. And I don't know if those are humans or souls or something along the line. There's also the rain element going on, where rainfall contacting your skin causes you and other things to age rapidly, which is like I guess a mechanic that you have to be careful of your environment. You have to seek shelter, encouraging players to behave cautiously.
Telling people to be.
But I mean, I don't know how that plays in with the other parts of the world and how those systems have an effect on, like, I don't know, with each other. But again, this is like we're all nobody knows yet. We all have seen so little of the game, and no one outside Kojima's marketing has really told us what this thing is.
Fucking Kojima. Watch his marketing team just be like, we don't want people to know what this game is about.
Because maybe they don't even know themselves. They're like, I don't know what the game is. Like, they gave us this footage, but it's like, it makes no sense.
It's developed by like a team of developers, and no one knows what's going on. They're all doing their own little thing.
It's just Kojima in different suits.
I remember what BT. I remember what BT was. It's actually beach things. It's actually a real life thing where.
Beach thing?
Beach, like the actual beach.
Oh yeah, that's
whales will go onto the shore and just go die. We don't know why. There's no explanation for it. So it kind of makes sense because they're beach beyond the waters of purgatory.
Oh wait,
that didn't crotch over the beach shore.
Yeah, well, there's that moment in the trailer where you see
the dead whales. That's right. Like the first one, you saw dead whales.
Yeah. Another thing kind of with that idea is that you saw humans kind of killing themselves, or they see Norman Reedus turn blue and then he has a gun he's pointing towards his head. which is kind of emulating the whole Death Stranding, like they're all beaching themselves, they're all killing themselves for no reason. So maybe there's like another force causing, like that's one of the disaster things that killed all people in the United States.
That's true.
But I feel like again we still don't know anything.
Kojima's doing a good job of just making us all freaking guess. Goddamn.
I mean, from what even we spoke about, it makes a little more sense, and we have some piece, but it's like a tiny crumb at this point.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so other games, Borderlands 3. Anyone excited for that? Because I know I am. I fucking loved Borderlands 2. Holy shit.
Were you guys either watching or there when they revealed it
I
at
wish I
PAX
was there.
East, I think it was.
I wish I was there.
No.
Oh, dude. There's this video. I'll send it here, but it's just like, it was one of those things. It's like you feel for the guy, and you never. It's like one of those situations where it's like you're in high school, and it's just like, hey, you're like the night before you're thinking about your presentation. You're like, I really hope this doesn't happen. I really hope this doesn't happen. And literally, when they were presenting this, the 4K game trailer or something at PAX East, everything went wrong. The sound was off.
That's right.
It was a 4K video, so it lagged on the computer.
Oh.
The monitor, the screens, the projections weren't in 4K, so like nothing was like working right. They even tried to like fake it in the sense of like, we'll point the camera to the actress who was in the beginning of the trailer, and they kind of used that as a way to fake that they were like, just buying time for the engineers in the back on trying to just get the video working. And at the end of the day, it still didn't work. And oh dear, you feel for the guy. Like, the guy is sweating bullets, and the guy, I'm pretty sure his job is just to present the game, right? Like, he has no idea what's happening, and he's just there like taking the hit and everything. I'll send it right now.
No.
But oh dude, it feels so bad.
Okay, I didn't actually get to watch that. See, so the day of that the trailer dropped, I just watched the actual trailer online. I didn't even see the actual live press conference. Damn, this is sad. Rip Gearbox. Oh no. For like the biggest game that they've been waiting to reveal for, I don't know, is it almost 10 years? No, it's 7 years, I'm guessing.
Like 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
It's been a while, but there is some controversy around this as well, especially. Yeah, Randy Pitchford.
You had one job.
Yeah, there's that weird porn thing he did.
Oh man.
The weird porn thing. He assaulted the voice actor for Claptrap, then also told Troy Baker, "Don't come back as Reese." But then, like, he says, like, we never had that conversation in the first place. He's a bit weird. We'll just leave it at that. Aside from, the game looks fucking great. I'm just the CEO of Gearbox is kind of cuckoo.
That's right.
The guy who's right here, right? This is the guy who's presenting right now.
Yes.
So maybe now he deserves this. If all those things are true, maybe my sympathy kind of goes out the window.
Yeah.
Watch it be one of his own staff who sabotaged this, just so he could get back at the CEO. Shit. Hashtag conspiracies.
It's just he's a real life magician as well.
Oh yeah, Randy Pitchford, right? He
he
magic.
is? Oh shit.
Yeah. He did magic actually in that show, I think.
Oh,
That's how you revealed the game. Yeah, he just showed off.
Yeah.
Oh, Borderlands 3. It's behind my sleeve.
Lol. That sounds pretty lame though, but okay. That's fair.
But from the gun combinations, that makes me happy.
Yes.
I mean, there's 1 billion guns.
Can you tell me more about that? Like, there's a new mechanic called gun combinations.
I think there was. I'm gonna look that up again. I vaguely looked at least the trailer enough. I think you can create your own guns on parts you can find.
That's sick.
Okay.
That is sick. So finally you get to
there's
customize? Yo.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I know that you're doing another thing with Twitch. Like, if you're watching a Twitch streamer, you can actually see what guns they have and get them.
What?
So if they're playing Borderlands 3, right? There's a way for you to find out what they have equipped, what their build is, and mimic that and find their guns and either equip them or buy them or get them in some way.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Okay, like on the
I
one
will
hand,
say I'm not the. Go on.
I was gonna say, like, on the one hand, that makes it so that it might be a little too easy to get the gun pieces or the guns that you want. On the other hand, I can see it, that will help for the demographics of people, like working people who just don't have enough time to play the game. But then it won't
Just look
give
at the
you that.
community.
Yeah.
They also changed how scaling works as well.
How did they change that?
So let's say you want to join a friend who has a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of like match it where instead of your friend hoarding all the good guns, you basically get your own set of loot, and it's tailored to your level.
Interesting.
Well,
It like the Division type of.
yeah, I was just about to say that.
Kind of
Kind of
like
redid it in the Division.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Sounds like it. So that sounds interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the guns.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that was the thing that you would do in Borderlands 2, where you just go to a high-level friend's game, and then all the guns would be way above your level, and you just can't. You're just absolutely useless while your friend just runs through and carries you through the game for you while you level up. Like it was never really fun to play with a high-level friend until you got to their level. But yeah, Borderlands 3
Yeah,
sounds
and all
really
the-
interesting.
All the manufacturers actually changed as well. Vladoff weapons will use all about gun attachments like tasers, rocket tubes, and more gun barrels.
Ooh.
Hyperion will use weapon-mounted shields and more aiming. Jacob's weapons, which is I think
The
is it
Wild West
Vladoff?
one.
No, Jacob's is the one.
Yeah, it's the one where you
It's the
click
one
per
that's
shot.
piece of
Yeah,
crap.
it's the one that does a
Yeah.
lot of damage per shot at least. Hey.
Yeah, Jacob's weapons will likely be fast firing,
Mhm.
but now bullets will also ricochet towards targets.
Huh.
Torg weapons will be able to toggle between sticky and explosive projectiles. And lastly, the Children of the Vault, led by the new villains, will be making weapons that feature infinite magazines, but will sometimes overheat.
Huh.
Oh,
That sounds
so
cool. That
This one,
sounds really cool, actually. Over 1
Yeah.
billion.
I don't know. For me, I'm not the biggest Borderlands fan, but it seems like they're adding a lot of stuff to just kind of keep making it more Borderlands.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that makes it really want to play is knowing a lot of people I know want to play it. Like, I'd just buy it to play with my friends. I'm not really sold on it. I don't know. I'm an outsider looking at this game, going like, it looks fun. I'm not like crying over it though.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, if there's
That's
anything that you can appreciate about Borderlands, Christian, is the reload graphics. Because reloading in Borderlands looks phenomenal. Like in every Borderlands game, just the reload animation. It's just so sexy.
You throw your gun as a grenade, and the more bullets you have,
Yes.
the more damage it does. They have,
I hear
they
like
have
that's
running guns this time.
Half the fun is making the weird builds that take advantage of those small quirks.
Yes.
Like I know there's a build where you're supposed to constantly be on fire, so you're always putting yourself
right.
on fire to fight.
Wait, is it the Phoenix from 1, or is it?
I'm
'Cause I know
not
it's
sure. I
pretty
just read
cool.
game stories.
Just like and you can just imagine like you're seeing your teammates like, dude, isn't that bad for you? Like, are you on fire? Like, nah, dude, it's part of my build. Just chill. And you see him just doing more damage, and you're like, this is bad. Like, he's getting damage. He's on fire. He's doing more damage than me. This is bad.
You do a raid. It's like, are you good? I'm like, nah. Do you need some water? Nah, I'm good.
And he's still out DPSing you. It's like, well, shit.
I need to be on fire more.
Yeah, other games. Cyberpunk 2077. Anyone looking forward to that?
Oh my
Right?
god,
Right?
Everyone's
I will-
super excited for that game. I don't know. It's.
so good.
I think I keep forgetting it exists. Like some games are in development so long that I feel like it feels like they haven't come out yet, or they're still in development. Like Metal Gear Solid 4 felt like it was in development 5 years, even 5 years after it came out for me.
Dang. So let me see. Cyberpunk 27 was announced in E3 2018. It was one of those games that was
Okay.
announced far too early and was seldom seen, often finding itself on most anticipated lists several years straight. Seems to be long worth the wait. Let me see. What's it about? Compared to the developer's stellar action RPG The Witcher 3, it's immediately apparent that Cyberpunk 2077 trades out swords and sorcery for guns and high-tech cybernetics. The neon-lit metropolis of Night City is undoubtedly a far cry from the forest of Spitfire Bluff, which should make for an incredibly exciting space to explore. Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 is gonna be some freaky stuff. Like, have y'all seen the trailer for it?
Yeah, the POV is more like Deus Ex.
Oh yeah.
It really just makes me want to play Deus Ex, or just wish people would love Deus Ex more than they already do.
You can thank Square Enix for making it what it is right now. That's basically what I have to say.
Yeah, I think Keyway Revolution was good. It's the following game that just, I don't know, it somehow got ignored or overlooked.
I think it got overlooked, honestly. Like I remember when it came out.
There was that big controversy too with it.
Oh, there was?
The whole, augment your pre-order, where they made you choose your pre-order bonus or something like that, and then people got really mad at it, and that was one half of it, like the thing, and then like at the end of development cycle, Squeenix came in and said, we're gonna put all these microtransactions that unbalance the game. Not really saying that, but like it basically unbalanced the game, where the season pass was only a one-time use, so you could only use it once and one save, and if you delete the save, you can never use the season pass content ever again.
No, wait, that's absolutely
that's
shit.
yeah.
That is absolutely shit.
Yeah. Let me look that up.
That's really shit.
So I'm kind of the dirty laundry guy. I don't want to talk shit about the industry, but there is a lot of weird stuff that happens in the background.
I mean, like, yeah, you just can't cover stuff up at this point. You know, it's like if the more the industry shoots himself in the foot, it's like, you know, you just have to look at the foot sometimes. You literally can't turn away from it.
And sometimes when people are trying to like make money off a project a little bit more, they end up, you know, ruining their even greater potential bottom line of just having people buy things.
Oh yeah.
Like it sounds like this game had a shitload of like little tiny mistakes or like controversies that just added towards a negative feel towards the game, which is a bummer because I really like Deus Ex.
I like Deus Ex, and I like the whole like world of it. It's just consumer mentality is a major thing of buying games. If you keep doing this kind of stuff, people are just gonna be like that. I mean, if you look at like Battlefront, that's a good example. Battlefront 2, holy crap, that game is legislation.
That game went up and then it went down, like so fast.
Hasn't it been going back up now at least?
It's been on a positive.
I mean, they fired the head guy. They replaced him. They kind of like started revamping the entire multiplayer. But at that point, it's like you're playing a broken game as long as they're constantly fixing it just because they messed up and were money hungry from the beginning. You know?
Fuck.
Yeah, I think it's definitely in a better state now. Like people love the updates. All these new characters from Clone Wars and other series are coming in. It's positive, I would say. But it took them like a year or two of just messing up to get there.
And I think it was so bad to the point where like mentioning this new Star Wars game, the Fallen Order, they had to like explicitly say like there is no microtransactions. It's a single player game. Don't worry, type of deal. And it's just like damn, like you know that you know like for me, I took that as like they're still being haunted from like the Battlefield 2 situation. If they had to say something like that, you know.
But also remember, the Fallen Order is being made by Respawn. It's made by a different studio. It's not made by DICE this time. Well, then again, of course.
But aren't they all owned by the same?
Yeah, all owned by EA.
Well, it's a little. It is different though, because Respawn for some reason has a bit more autonomy. Like their games are not made using the Frostbite. They have their own Respawn engine, which is what all the Titanfall, Apex games are made in. I think for Fallen Order, it's being made in Unreal 4. So they have a weird like separation almost. I can't really explain that connection. That being said, because they are EA like owned, people are gonna make the assumption and gonna make the negative like association with them.
Would you say?
I don't think they'd make that. It's okay. I don't think they'll make that negative association, just simply because Apex Legends exists. You know, they've seen people have, I think, given EA kind of a break because of Apex Legends and
they have,
how you know they've kind of gone against that Battlefront 2 philosophy.
Right. I guess it's an example. It is an example how like they don't necessarily have that, but they actively knew they had to like work against that stigma which exists within like the industry.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: what do you guys think of the Fallen Order game that's coming out so far, based on what we've seen?
I'm really excited.
So just for a quick overview,
I'm
it is
interested.
you take control of Jedi Padawan called Cal Kestis, who is, by the way, a white male. That is another another controversy that someone could jump into if they don't like. But you're controlling Cal Kestis as he tries to evade capture and avoid being noticed as a surviving Jedi. Expect social stealth, a droid companion, force powers, and lightsaber combat.
I don't know about the stealth part, but the lightsaber combat is definitely in. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
What I hope that this game can be is a better version of Star Wars. What is it? The Force Unleashed. The one like back, maybe what was it, like 8 years ago or something? I think it's like
2014.
when I saw this. Yeah. When I saw this game, I was just like, it brought me back to those type of memories. So it's like, I think game is just gonna be a, not to take away anything that it's trying to be. It's just like a better version of that, a better story. With just better quality, in every way, shape, and form. Just because now we can do anything, so that's where I'm envisioning this type of gameplay to be.
I heard some things about it. I don't know if I can share if you guys want to hear.
Go ahead. I mean,
Yeah,
can we
essentially,
hear it? Like, is it like NDA stuff?
Sorry, I'll go into it. Essentially, they're playing around with some. From what I understand, they are kind of doing a whole traversal thing because it's a thing they're really good with. I mean, their past games all had some kind of wall running or jumping.
Oh yeah.
But in terms of combat, I heard they're doing interesting stuff because I was always that person who kind of hated seeing Star Wars games where a character could take 5 hits from a lightsaber and still be standing. Like, you should lose an arm, at least an arm.
Freaking Qui-Gon got stabbed once and he died.
But I hear what they're doing is they're playing like they're trying to make sure the combat kind of has that in mind. Like stormtroopers are going to go down in one hit no matter what. But other characters would like the challenge is going to come in other ways, like multiple people you have to fight and manage, or characters that can deflect lightsaber attacks, like I think they're Inquisitors or Dark Troopers they had. Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with combat. That's, to me, like, I have faith in the studio, and they're going to do a good job with it.
See, now I'm actually just thinking about that. That's a really interesting idea, because it's actually kind of similar to one anime I watched, like Samurai Champloo, if anyone has watched that. Essentially, in that anime, they make it, like, kind of more realistic anime sword fighting, where they have very, very minimal sword clashing, because, if your samurai swords were to clash, it would just dent the sword and make your sword completely useless. Instead, they just have characters missing, or characters dodging each other's slashes. So I'm wondering about how, if they do that for the Fallen Order, make it so that you don't, like, when you fight someone, they just dodge your attacks, and you just have to try to land one good hit on them, so that will kill them. Like, how would that feel for a player? When the feedback is that you're just missing your enemy, and you just have to land that one good hit, and then they'll die. How would that feel as a player? Like, what do you guys think about that idea? Where you're gonna be in a boss fight, you're not really able to kind of chunk down their health. You just have to land that one good hit, but they're just gonna be really good at dodging. Yeah, do you get what I'm saying?
Would you say
like For Honor, like in that style?
Not really For Honor, because in For Honor you still chip down their health, right? I'm saying like you just have to land one good hit, and then the boss will die.
Okay.
But they're just gonna be dodging. Like you're not able to actually chip down their health. You just have to land one hit. But the entire boss fight, or an entire fight against an enemy, they're just gonna be trying to dodge you.
Yeah,
you said something like Darth Maul, like where literally it was just they blocked a couple attacks here and there, and then it was just like one slice to the waist, and that was it. Like,
yeah,
are you envisioning something like that?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Kind of like,
kind
of like that without the weapons actually contact. So it's two people that are especially skilled at dodging. And you just got to get it so that way you can maneuver, so that way your next strike is the one that lands.
What comes to mind is Sekiro. Sekiro has the whole pose mechanic, or like posture mechanic. Like it's essentially another resource or like life bar.
Right.
That if you whittle it down on the enemy, it's like a kill on whoever you're fighting.
That's true. Yeah, when you
That's
whittle
true.
down their,
Yeah, when you whittle down their
what do you got? Their stance
what
bar,
do you
right?
got?
Their stamina bar.
Bar, right? Their stamina bar.
Am I hearing myself? Hello?
Oh,
that's
my
weird.
headset died. Sorry.
Oh no.
Luckily enough, they're 1+ ones, so they'll charge in about like 100% in about 10 minutes. So
Oh,
give me a sec.
shit.
So I just switched back to my laptop.
But no, yeah, like I don't know. I just think that something like that where you're fighting an enemy and you're not able to feel the feedback of actually whittling down their health. It would kind of be weird for the player.
Yeah. There's also force powers.
That's right. Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
Like how do you incorporate that into like a combat, like into a lightsaber fight or a duel or just general? Which I don't think any. I mean, the Force Unleashed sold people on that, and it did okay. But I don't know.
But you have to remember, like, Force Unleashed was where you're part of the dark side, so you actually had offensive powers.
Right.
I think it might be something because as you guys were talking, I was thinking about like what type of gameplay it might replicate, and it might like envision the Spider-Man, Marvel, the PlayStation one, on how like let's say the first boss that you fight is Kingpin, and you have the basic ability of like ripping things from the walls, from parts, and you're able to just swing them to Kingpin, and it does damage. I think, I guess that's like a cheap way of doing, some force fights, stuff. But that's how I can maybe envision it, because it's like at that point, it's like like when you're playing Spider-Man for hours on end, it's like it feels. His entire like web slinging powers feel like like a tool to you at the entire time, but at the same time there's like limitations to it, and you don't really feel those limitations. And I think it might be something like that with this, just speculating here with the force powers.
Actually, there's a game that's it's on this list that I want to bring up that kind of does a lot of force powers well. Control. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, he gets it. He's on the hype. I'm on the hype too. This game looks so good.
I don't know this game.
Remedy makes the best games, and they have been broken free from Microsoft's control of having exclusivity, so I don't have to buy an Xbox anymore. And I can
Wait, for what game? Is it Wait.
It's called
Control.
Oh, yo! This game looks sick.
Max Payne, Quantum Break, Alan Wake. I'm so hyped.
Control looked sick.
So what Control's doing is like the character themselves has like force powers. Essentially, they can pick up debris to like block bullets. They can force push objects. They can pick up. I don't think they can pick up people. They can kind of mind control people to fight for them, which is like Jedi mind control. And it's done really well, where everything feels super weighty. When you push something, the whole room can just like feel that push. And I mean, on its own merits, the game looks really interesting. It's essentially a Metroid building that's constantly changing, kind of like like if the building's tessellating and growing and making rooms as you explore it. But that game itself is an example of like how force powers could work really well with a shooting mechanic. I just don't know in terms of like a back to Star Wars, how it would act as a melee combat brawler game. That makes me, I don't know how those would blend together as well, unless they really want to focus on force powers being like a guard blocks or something like that, or guard breaks.
But isn't he a Padawan, right? So he doesn't have like high extent.
Yeah, so maybe that's how you gain powers too. You're learning them.
Oh.
Structurally, it works kind of well.
By the way, just for reference, for those who haven't checked out Control yet, the game revolves around the Federal Bureau of Control, a secret U.S. government agency tasked with containing and studying phenomena which violate the laws of reality. As Jessie Faden, redhead hot chick, the Bureau's newest director. She's a director, wow.
Oh, God.
I'm surprised they would have
It's a really great
I'm surprised they would have like a director do like agent stuff, okay. Players explore the oldest house, the FBC's paranormal New York headquarters, and utilize powerful abilities in order to defeat a deadly enemy known only as the Hiss, which has invaded and corrupted reality.
this game is also doing a lot of cool stuff in terms of like tone and narrative. Like they have a lot of weird things available for you to find narrative-wise in side quests. They have like, it's kind of like the Men in Black, how like there's a secret society that keeps things down under and in control. But a lot of it's like about weird like paranormal phenomenon they can't explain. Like an example is like there's an agent whose job is to watch a refrigerator, and if like they have to watch a refrigerator or else like something bad's gonna happen. And there's a whole side quest attached to that. You have to like find someone to relieve him of his duty or something like that. And it's like all these weird like Twin Peaks-esque like mysteries and like bizarre writing. I don't know. To me, it's like super interesting and cool, and I'm excited for the game.
Well, for those who've played Alan Wake, if anyone has, it's this Control is the culmination of like everything that Remedy's been working on with Quantum Break, Alan Wake, a little bit of Max Payne. So it has that kind of weirdness of like Twin Peaks, Stephen King from Alan Wake, and the whole action-y kind of sequences from Quantum Break, which was like time travel. And actually, no, it wasn't time travel. It was like time manipulation. Like time is broken, and you could freeze objects and then put them mid-air. That's a good solid 20-hour game. And it's on I think it's on PC too.
Oh.
But I've been waiting for them to be outside of Microsoft because I just don't want to buy another Xbox because I have no need for it. I bought an Xbox only for that reason because I'm a giant Remedy fan.
Just for Alan Wake? Oh shit.
No, for Quantum Break.
Oh shit.
Because I won at Comic-Con. They were doing a Monday Night Combat tournament at like one of the satellite booths, and I won Alan Wake, and I just fell in love with it. They gave me the collector's edition, and I've been following Remedy ever since, and they haven't done me wrong at all. Like I've never had a bad game from them. And I went back to Max Payne, and like still holds up. Kind of clanky, but still holds up.
Holy shit!
Like I'm a huge fan too, and they're just an interesting studio altogether. Yeah, I'm excited, and this is weird because it's part of a deal they have with 505 Games, who's a publisher of this. I think it's like they publish the next 3 of their games. They're also working on a narrative for this. Essentially, it's a Counter-Strike clone that's really popular in China.
What game is this?
And I don't know what. Firefight 2 or something like that. Firestrike, something. It looks like Counter-Strike. But you know, it's exciting to see like now they have the kind of go wild.
Shit. By the way, for any artist who wants to break out and get some popularity, there is no Jesse Fadden hentai as of yet from Control. So if you jump onto that,
oh god,
please no, don't ruin my
Rule 34.
Apparently, Rule 34 is not applied to the Control protagonist yet, Spectre. So this is a budding. This is a gold mine.
It will. It will.
It hasn't happened yet for some reason. It's amazing.
How about we change topics and talk about Modern Warfare? Because someone Ren put the trailer on.
Yes.
Have you guys seen it?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's a minute.
Sure,
I'll start talking so you can watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
What's it about?
Holy cow! So I'm assuming it's a reboot. It's a reboot. I don't know whether they're redoing the entire story. I don't know much about it. I kind of grew up on Call of Duty, so any Call of Duty game I'm already semi-biased. But with the most recent games, you know, at that point it's just like World War II was a game that they were supposed to, bring the advanced features and tone it down, and it kind of like World War II kind of did bad. Black Ops 4 is just a fun shooter, but nothing stands out with that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but with this one, rebooting one of the best series that Call of Duty has, and the quality that you see in this trailer, assuming that it's all gameplay footage. Dude, I don't know where this game can go, because right now it's like I'm assuming it might be something with Osama bin Laden, because there is a scene where it's at night, you see the chopper land, and they're breaking into a building. They're also talking about
mission.
Yeah, and they talk about how you fight as both the whatever COD team this is, or whatever with Captain Price, and then you also play as the Freedom Fighters. So I'm assuming it might do something with Osama bin Laden. I'm not they haven't shared anything. It was just a reveal trailer. So
let me read let me read what people are saying about it. Let me see. We know it's Modern Warfare, but it's not a remake of the 2007 classic. It's a reimagining. So not really a reboot, it's a reimagining of that game, geared at being more relevant to the current world we live in. So I can see, it might actually have to deal with bin Laden. While we haven't seen much in the way of multiplayer, we know about 2 big developments on that front already. First, Modern Warfare will support cross-play between Xbox One, PS4, and PC, leaving out Switch. So you can play with anyone regardless of their platform. Not true, because they're leaving out Switch. Second, Call of Duty is doing away with the Season Pass format of selling post-release content, and all multiplayer maps released after the game's launch on October 25th will be free to all players. On the campaign side, so there's actually a campaign, Infinity Ward has said it's looking to make a game that asks players how far they're willing to go in a modern war that doesn't have defined battlefields or easily identifiable combatants. It's looking to explore the moral gray area of conflicts, and while you'll fight alongside at least one returning character, Captain Price. You'll also join rebel fighters in a fictional Middle Eastern coverage. Damn, man.
I mean, I don't know, part of me, when I first saw this, thought this is like the Crash Bandicoot collection of Modern Warfare or something. It's just like a prettier version of a game we've already played. Some of these details you're saying are really interesting, like the fact that there's no season pass. It's just like, it's going to be updated is, I think, a really good idea.
Free updates.
Yeah, and I guess for me, I've been out of Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 3. I think ever since, I played Spec Ops 3, and I guess they all kind of felt so samey to the point where I lost my interest. And like seeing this trailer, what got me the most excited was seeing that image of a guy leaning to the right and shooting a pistol. It's like, wait, am I allowed to like lean now? Is this gonna be like Siege? Is this stuff like that is really cool.
Did they finally let you peek around corners?
Right. I guess I wonder how much you're going to change the formula to like really kind of make Modern Warfare look a little different now. I just don't know if they have the confidence to really, go that far.
It's really hard to reinvent the wheel, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of where, because this is kind of the original arcade shooter in the sense of time to kill was very, very short versus the Halos, and that was like a major revolution. Another thing that I've seen is that Activision's actually actively looking towards the Call of Duty franchise to be more free to play, rather than having all. That's kind of what the push is, like what they had like no map packs. And then also I feel kind of wary because their attitude towards the remasters of the original trilogy, or at least the first 2, I think they came out on remaster, that they retroactively basically charged for the map packs and then re-added loot boxes into the game. Now with the legislation that's going on right now, maybe that'll be a little different, but the big 2 always kind of leave me on the sidelines, and I'm just the guy who buys Yakuza games in the corner.
Hey, the Yakuza games are good. I still haven't played one, even though you recommended it to me. I still need to play that. I still really need to play one. Shit.
I'm on 6. I have Judgment coming up too.
Oh god, there's so many Yakuza games.
I can't get enough of it.
So,
but back to the topic. I feel very wary because I'm on the same party as I dropped off around Black Ops 1. I mean, I'll pick it up because they were like on clearance at GameStop, I think, at Advanced Warfare, and that kind of got me the taste for Titanfall type gameplay. And I still think Advanced Warfare has one of the best maneuverabilities, at least for Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. Versus, I mean, Black Ops 3, it was okay. Advanced Warfare felt more floaty, and that's kind of what I like in my shooters, is a little more floatiness. Growing up on Halo.
I liked a lot of the Call of Duty title, but only on the single player campaigns, which is kind of why I don't pick them up, is because I don't feel for an 8 to 15 hour campaign, if that, it's worth $60. Maybe $20, but I've always thought that their single player campaigns were phenomenal.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It's just-
think about all the controversy it's created just from their storylines, which are, they're fantastic. Of course, they made controversy, but they're still really, really like impactful kind of storylines.
Well, exactly. They weren't scared to show kind of the brutality that real war would take on.
Mm-hmm.
When it's down to the line, people are going to do whatever they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, what was it? The Black Ops ones. I thought those were phenomenal, just simply phenomenal. I think it was 2 is the one where where you've made up that person in your mind. I think that's what it was.
Oh, that was in Black Ops 3. Right?
Okay.
Black Ops 3. And
it was like 2 or 3.
Oh
It was Black Ops 3. The story was all out of line, and you played it, and it had to do with the fact that at the very end, you killed, like you had to essentially reboot the whole thing, but then you realize that you were fighting this disease or something in your own head. Like it wasn't even like a real enemy. At the end of it all, it was just like, no, wait, I'm sorry. It was in just because the story, like they made it out of order, and if you bother to put it back together, there was some parts of the game story, the campaign, where you had to, it was like you fighting in your, like the demons in your own head. It was essentially what they were going for. And then at the very end, it kind of brought out the main villain who wanted to disconnect humanity from that type of thinking of like, we're always in our head, this and this, da da da. And then, I think the last mission is the right order. But at the end of the loop was that like when you finish the game, I think it kind of like resets you back to the beginning or something. And then at that point you're like, wait, what did I just play? And then that's where like it gives you the hints, like the entire story is out of order, and like you can, and then it's like up to you to like piece pieces together. It was a crazy story.
Damn.
Really crazy story of Black Ops 3.
And they also like paired it together with the zombie story, which is pretty kind of cool. Like, it had the zombies like actually as enemies, like. So those were technically the demons, and there's like an extension to the overall like story. I haven't remember that a long time ago. I watched the whole thing on YouTube, but
Also with World War II, they had a controversy because in one of the versions, I think maybe they patched it, but I forgot. But essentially, there was a part where you had to infiltrate the Nazi Germany, and you're I'm assuming a U.S. soldier infiltrating. You had the gear of a Nazi, and you enter one of the capitals, one of the buildings, and in one of the rooms, you see how one of the German soldiers, you just heard a woman getting raped or something, and I think. I'm not 100% sure. I think you're able to actually like enter the room, and it shows that like the girl's like some of her clothes were off or something, right? Like just like it didn't show anything. It just gave the hints. It's like, yeah, this dude was doing something to the poor girl, and in certain parts of the world they didn't want to have that. So what ended up happening, I think, was that Activision had to redo that part, and I think it was like the girl ends up like defending herself or something. But I think in our version, like the American version, I think it's still where the girl gets raped and stuff. And I know that was one of the biggest things, like with World War II, with that storyline. The story was great and everything, but like that was one of the parts with World War II. And then this one, kind of like I think it was S94. I forgot your actual name, but you were talking about Alex. Yes. How you're talking about like with Call of Duty, like they kind of want to push the war zone, and they're not afraid of like pushing the boundaries. And it looks like this entire story mode is going to be just exploring the gray area of conflicts, of everything, of war, essentially.
So I just want to tie that into the whole idea of how like other countries kind of don't want to explore more graphic topics in games, right? Like they kind of just want to shy away from it, and yet our American designers want to explore more graphic content. There's a game that Spectre sent to me earlier that is also not shying away from graphic content.
Oh god.
See, this makes me feel weird because the focus is mostly violence and deep, dark, and gritty stories, and most of the sexualization has been very, very minute, as per the new content policy by Sony, where you have Omega Labyrinth with one side which is complete. There's a checklist.
There's a checklist of like graphic stuff. Oh my god.
Where like things have been removed, and like the Sony version for Omega Labyrinth Life or what, something like that, they removed the Omega symbol, which is a joke because it's a girl's pair of tits, so that it doesn't have that.
Oh, this is Omega Labyrinth. Hello.
Yeah,
Wow.
D3 Publisher as well made a video where it was like a presidential speech, and they were grilling Sony. It was pretty funny.
But
yeah.
Back to the game that Spectre showed me is called League of Maidens, if none of you have clicked on it yet. It is an online superhero RPG game for PC featuring beautiful maidens with guns and superpowers by the 3-man indie studio Maiden Gaming. League of Maidens features a unique blend of third-person 360-degree land, sea, and air movement with classic controls and action combat, melee, and superpower mechanics. Not only can you battle it out on the battlefield or complete quests, create, pose, share, quest battle mechanics. What? Wait, what? Basically, you can take photos and pose characters and share it with people across the world.
And you can also make trailers and all sorts of stuff. And the photography is done in 4K. And like I was telling Alex earlier, is the one thing that I liked about it was the amount of customization that you can do. I mean, when you have over 200 sliders for character itself, it lets you have that connection, which was kind of one of the things that with that Star Wars game, that's one thing that personally I don't like, is where this is a character you have to play.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels like you're along for the story. You are not actually participating in.
Not non-immersive gaming, like not super immersive, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, unfortunately, League of Maidens will not be at E3, but it is a game that is coming out very soon.
That's interesting. I'm looking at the Patreon right now.
Fuck, it reminds me of 3 years ago at E3 they had adult VR come by, and no lie, it was actually like uncensored porn on a VR headset.
For AX, yeah?
No, for E3. For E3.
Oh, for E3?
Yeah, they were showing off adult porn in like an Oculus Rift headset. And you just had this huge line of dudes just lined up from across the convention center. And people were like, what's that line? What's that line? And they're like, oh, that's the adult VR line. It's like, whoa. Are there actually naked girls in there? I was like, yeah, man. You get to see fucking Sasha Grey. And people were like, yo, I'm getting into this line. Like, shit.
Well, see, that's okay. So that's one thing that I don't think Western developers should embrace, is just full-on straight nudity. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, then I don't know. To me, it's just tacky. It's just straight up full nudity. It's just tacky. But dude, sometimes you just gotta have something. you know, I don't know. I'm weird like that.
Yeah, the whole Western not accepting sexualization as a whole. It's a weird topic.
The U.S. is still founded a lot by Puritans, and that's a very that's the word I'm looking for.
Conservative.
I guess conservative, or just like they're very reserved. Americans are known for being really lax on violence, but really like uppity on like nudity. Or like the rest of the world, they would show porn at 8 p.m. or what we would call porn.
I mean, Japan on the other side of the coin, I think they censored Gears of War a lot. I know in is it Marvel vs. DC or is this Injustice? There's a part where Joker has a finisher where it's a gun, but they like pan away from the gun so you
Really?
don't see actually the headshot. Yeah, something like that.
So that sounds interesting because you know how like when animes like One Piece first came out in the U.S., they took out Sanji's cigarette and replaced it with a lollipop. So it's interesting how like Japan is censoring Americans, like America's content. America is also censoring Japan's content now.
Yeah,
Well, Japan censors themselves too.
That's true.
Well, they have their decency law, yeah.
You saw JoJo Part 3 censorship, right? Where Jotaro is like smoking a cigarette and it's just a giant black hole on his face.
That could be misinterpreted in many ways, but continue.
It's because Jotaro is 16 and him smoking a cigarette, it can't be shown on live television.
16 with the body of Arnold.
So they had to
Schwarzenegger.
censor it out on the broadcast, and it's just a black dot on his face, just moving while he's moving. Something like that.
So E3 guys,
E3.
right?
Yeah.
Back to
I want to talk about Halo.
Oh, Halo
Yeah, that was the
Infinite.
one I was gonna bring up,
Halo
too.
Infinite.
You want to go into it? I want to see like other people's opinions first.
So I come from a stance of where like I play Halo growing up here and there, and I didn't realize I was playing Halo. Like I was young when I was playing it, so I didn't realize I was playing like 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. But for this one, I think overall it's gonna be cool. I hope. Like I know there's a lot of
You sound hesitant.
controversy.
You sound pretty hesitant.
Yeah, because I have a friend. His name is Safe, and he's like one of the biggest Halo fanatics, and he's kind of hesitant himself just because it's like they were trying to transfer everything over to PC, and some things, and there was like I can't really. I shouldn't be the one talking because I really don't know much, but
what do you know? Like, what do you know? Yeah.
What's the explanation? Maybe we know some stuff.
So one thing that I do know is that like overall, it's. Now that I think about it, wow, I actually don't know much. I just know it's. Yeah, my bad.
Let me read some stuff
Okay,
about it.
let's go.
Let me read some stuff. So.
I can talk about some stuff too because it's a game I've been following. Like my background is I played Halo a lot as a kid. Like Halo 1 is like the party game I played with like my cousins and neighborhood kids, and my brothers.
Those were the days.
Yeah, we would all get together and just really play. And there was always that kid you knew was he was a screen watcher or something, screen peeker.
And you would play 4-player split screen Halo, and you'd be like,
Yeah,
"Where are you hiding?
it was like-
Where are you hiding?"
Kind of like that. I mean, we all had like fun with it, and it was like the first online game I ever played. Like I didn't have like other internet besides that. And for Halo Infinite, it's kind of like what's happening in Call of Duty. It's a bit of a soft reboot after Guardians, because a lot of people seem to be really unhappy with how they showed Chief, the narrative, that kind of just went in places nobody cared for. It seems like this is a bit of they're trying to kind of channel what made classic Halo good and go back closer towards that. But also, like, the word infinite is applying a lot of things. Like, I think everyone is seeing, like, they see like they're kind of hinting at the idea that you get to explore the entire Halo ring as like a semi-open world or open world game,
That's
which
really
is
crazy.
Yeah, Halo has always had like big open maps, but besides ODST, none of them has been like an open world straight up. And even ODST was like locked behind like slow moving like opening doors as like loading like shallow loading screens. So yeah, to me, I'm excited because I feel like the fan base is ready for Halo. Like there's been a bit of a hunger for it, or nothing's really filled its place. So I feel like there's a moment to strike and really hit hard and resonate with a lot of people. And now also the fact that Microsoft's moving away from like exclusively having things only on Xbox, but also having it on PC is like a really cool move. They've kind of gone towards a place of being like, if you want to play the game, just play the game. Just do it here or wherever you can, or if we can legally put it on a toaster, play it on a toaster.
They're trying to adopt Todd Howard's approach. Make it the new Skyrim.
the Skyrim method. But I'm excited for it, and I really hope it works because I loved Halo as a kid, and I want them to maybe address what happened in 4 and 5, but really kind of only enough to kind of set up a better, more core Halo experience. And I think they've already announced it, but they're gonna bring back split screen because to me that was always like prime Halo, and I just want to go back to having like LAN parties or like bringing friends over and just playing.
But then you're gonna deal with screen peekers again.
If 343 can pull off a semi or maybe open world model, I'll be pretty surprised because I mean the whole 4 and 5 is them chasing the magical Call of Duty dragon. I mean that's kind of
right. Call of Duty definitely, It took the thunder. I mean, their multiplayer had like loadouts. I think 5 had a lot of changes. It was like hit and miss, but some people really enjoyed like the fact it became faster and they had it like iron sights, but they balanced a lot of things out. 5 is still a really great multiplayer game. Like it still has a community. It's not the biggest, but the fact that it's consistent is really strong. I think it can really strike well. I just want to see gameplay, and I hope they can answer what it is. Like they explain if it is open world or if it's just like a series of open spaces. Because either way, if it keeps that Halo magic that I really loved in 3, 2, and 1, then like I'm down. I'm like gonna buy an Xbox One if I need to.
So I don't know about you guys. At least for me, as I consider myself a pseudo Halo fan. I wasn't too big into the multiplayer aspect of it, but what hooked me into Halo overall was its storyline. And when Halo 3 came out in 2008, God, that was one of the biggest hype things that ever hit me in my life. Like, there were trailers. I learned to play like the piano song for that one Halo miniature trailer video. God, like the whole idea of like finish the fight, protect humanity, finish the aliens, finish the fight, work with the Arbiter to finish the fight. God, like just the Halo storyline, the Halo plot line was what really drew me into the universe and into following Master Chief. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what Halo Infinite has to offer storyline wise. And I feel like they're kind of picking up from a really difficult situation right now.
Yeah, they did not help themselves with the last one.
No, yeah, because we know I don't know why, but I feel like from the first 3 Halos, from Halo 1 through 3, we were led to believe that Master Chief was the last Spartan, right?
I mean, they showed that, but the extended universe said there were other Spartans around.
Yeah, and then Halo 4, 5, 6, we see that there are other new humans who are almost comparable to Master Chief. So it kind of feels like they're kind of like backtracking on their
4s and 3s and all these different versions of it.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious, like what is the message gonna be behind Halo 6? Because Halo 4 and 5, we kind of experienced the whole AI going rogue, Cortana, deciding to splinter off to join the bad guys, etc., things like that. And that didn't really resonate with a lot of people. I feel, at least, didn't resonate with me. And I'm just wondering, how can they bring back the magic of, making people feel that Halo is a game about humanity, almost, because that's the way I felt about Halo 1 through 3. It was a game about humanity, fighting off aliens, about, people coming together and just working together. I don't know. That's the way I felt about Halo. I might have been looking too much into it.
Yeah, I mean, I won't, your viewpoint's so important. I would think that, the fact they kind of are hinting Blood will come back in some form. Is kind of an interesting place to take it. If you kind of go back to the original 3 factions of Covenant, Flood, and Humanity, maybe you're going to get something closer to what people really liked in the first trilogy. I feel like this trilogy felt a little forced at the beginning. I feel like it was they just didn't really set it up as well as I'd hoped they would. And the fact that the stories really weren't super great. And they kind of negated a lot of Chief's accomplishments through story. Or I guess it's never downright explained, but kind of implied. I feel like the best way is just ignore that and just move forward and kind of. I just don't know how.
It's a dark history. Don't look at it.
see how they did things with the Didact and the Forerunners, and like it's equivalent to how they handled Osiris in Destiny. That's the best way I can put it. Like it just was brushed aside, or was a very like thinly veiled thing. Like you've been teasing this thing for so long and hyping this thing up, and it's just like very bone dry and kind of and then it required you to go out. I mean, if you are a true Halo fan, kudos, but like for you to go outside and have to read what basically a Didact was in a book that's written by not the writers and just written by some other guy, I really do like, because Halo is about, at least for me, it's about humanity's survival and push through the galaxy after a religious race decides that they think they're better.
Right? Yeah,
they own everything, and they are the people who worship the people who are the progenitors of the humans.
There's a lot of Halo like lore. I feel like I feel like the lore never really is a point. It's just kind of like you get from like the chief story. And if they can just nail that and kind of keep the lore still intact as much as they can, then I think that should take priority. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm done talking about Halo. Unless you guys want to go into a different game.
I would say, so we're almost like hitting the end of our time here, gentlemen, and thank you again for your time. I'd say the last game to kind of talk about is The Last of Us Part 2. If anyone has any thoughts about that game. Announced in 2016 when The Last of Us finished, or was released in 2013. Last of Us 2 was announced in 2016, following the story of young Ellie, who has been looted by Shadman many, many times. Yes.
I heard that.
I heard it too good.
Shad base. But yeah, any thoughts on The Last of Us Part 2?
To be honest, I had to finish the first one.
Ooh.
So
it left on a cliffhanger to a point. So, there's nothing really more to it. I think the cool, like the tribalism, it's kind of like a Lord of the Flies kind of tribalism, kind of feel that they're giving off. I mean, they had that kind of hinted in, trying not to be spoilers.
Yeah, we have to try to like avoid spoilers.
I really do appreciate it.
But I do like the tribalism kind of thing, and the whole religious element being in a post-apocalyptic world that's more akin to Walking Dead style of zombie apocalypse, rather than. I'm skidding around all the.
No. Honestly, to be real, I think at this point it's like. It's like you're good to say whatever you need to say to get the point across. It's kind of like, not watching Endgame after 2 weeks. Like even the writers are like, dude, like, like there's $1 billion that's poured into the thing. Like if you haven't watched it, then that's on you at this point. So I think like, it's on me that I haven't finished the game. So it's all good. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Well, actually, I want to talk about something about that, which is cool because like a lot of other post-apocalyptic games like Fallout. They always kind of like bring religion as a big topic to kind of pull communities together after the apocalypse, and kind of what gets people together to form a community. So seeing that happen in The Last of Us, I have to be honest, it's like it feels a little cliche. Makes sense based on like other games we've seen, but it feels a little cliche.
I can agree with that. I mean, because basically The Last of Us ended on a cliffhanger, and it's really hard to do a time skip. It's like the Shippuden time skip, and then you have to basically plug in what's the remaining amount of time and make a story out of it when you left a giant cliffhanger, rather than just having like a couple years later. Yeah. And for them, they kind of only gave a small smidgen. They showed some gameplay, showed some more, and that's kind of Sony's kind of piecemeal kind of thing. Is that they'll. When it's ready to be shown, they'll show it off, but they'll keep it closed doors and kind of like give you a little crumb, give you another crumb, and that's also why they're not showing up for this year. Is they for PSX, they said we have nothing to show, so I don't feel like we should bring it in.
But we do know that it is probably going to be at E3. At least that's what a lot of people are understanding. Like at least The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be shown at E3. There might not be a press conference on it, but. There will definitely be. They will have a presence at E3. So I can definitely see that.
They'll probably do it in the same style because they did have the state of play. They'll probably do in June state of play or July state of play. At least my speculation. Because the time slot right now, Square Enix has the time slot for Sony.
That would be interesting. But yeah, I'm reading now that apparently, Last of Us Part 1 or Last of Us 1. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, they're calling it The Last of Us Part 2 instead of Last of Us 2. That's interesting. Yeah, Last of Us 1, where it followed Ellie and Joel, the game centered on love, while Last of Us Part 2 centers on hate. And based on the trailer we did see, we can see, the grown-up Ellie having a lot of hate in her. Like, it's really interesting to see how her character has developed, and I'm really curious to see how the world of The Last of Us has changed since then, and what direction the plot is really going to take now. Considering,
I'm interested to see the characters, like Joel and Ellie's relationship change, because of the whole ending and how Joel's decision and Ellie's inability to know what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not the game. The first game talks about how, nobody's good.
Right.
Everyone's kind of grays and different shades of it. So it seems like they're playing with that still. But I want to see how those characters interact with each other.
So we'll just go into spoilers now, Renee, unfortunately, but essentially in the first game, in the first game, Ellie was supposed to be the cure to the virus, right? And Joel was supposed
hold up. I think the part that I got up to, just so you guys are aware when it comes to the spoilers part, is the what was the last part? It was I barely exited the high school. I got the car working. I landed to the next city, and I got ambushed by those douchebags with the bus. And then now, I guess, what was the thing? I think I have to get to the bridge or something like that. I think that's the story right now, where I have to get to a bridge after killing those guys who I think eat people. Or they, what is it called? Like in their garage, they kind of just had bodies, and they were, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys.
Cannibal?
Yeah. I think I know the place where you were.
Essentially, I got the car working from when we meet. What's his name? Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're about 40 to 50% of the way down the game, so you still have a good chunk.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I just got the car working. I'm landing in the next city, and I'm barely starting that part. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Just to give you guys a heads up.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I'm definitely gonna be telling you stuff story wise, because I think the game is still worth playing gameplay wise. But story wise, essentially, Joel's taking Ellie to that location where they're gonna try to figure out the cure from her body, but they have to kill her to find out or experiment on her. And Joel decides not to do that, decides to take Ellie back from the Fireflies and runs away with her. And so now in Last of Us Part 2, we're going to see the impact of, Ellie growing up and maybe, or maybe not, well, probably finding out that Joel made that decision and that she was not able to sacrifice herself to save potentially a lot of people.
It's kind of shown that she understands what's going on, but she can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's an interesting look at, so this girl is gonna be what? Like, how old is she?
She says,
like 17?
He said that it was 5 years later. I started doing some reading just so I know what to avoid. But she's 19 years old, so it's 5 years after the game ended, and
so she's still in the angsty teens. So it's like she has to go through with, live with the idea as a teenager that she could have saved, her sacrifice could have saved many people. And yet she doesn't want to give up living. It's an interesting kind of struggle of seeing a character have to live with a decision that someone else made for them that was ideally beneficial for them.
And the way the virus works is it's really they needed her brain stem. That's kind of the main thing, because cordyceps will latch onto the brain stem, and then they'll just start growing, and then they'll attach to parts where that makes people berserk. And the cordyceps virus is really cool because it just takes control of. The idea is that it's a mutated cordyceps mushroom. That cordyceps attach themselves into insects, and then they control these. Just basically, these insects become zombies, and then their main goal is to spread to other insects and they just attach to their brains. So for her to be immune to that, and having the knowledge to be immune to that, and having that for 5 years, and the knowledge is like, I could have saved everyone if he didn't make that choice. I could have saved everyone.
Oh yeah.
I could have that can give the whole idea of love turn into hate. Is because the knowledge that you are the sole reason why humanity still is.
You are the cause of everyone's suffering.
Suffering, yeah. That you could be the end of people suffering, and you had the option to, but then you wiped out. Even though the Fireflies were technically more corrupt, and they were just a corrupt group, they had the opportunity and the ability to provide that cure and develop a cure, and they're all wiped out.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a really, really interesting story to explore. You know, it's like you're gonna be in that weird, morally gray situation, and I don't know. Like, I kind of hope that they're gonna give you a choice, but at the same time, I kind of hope they're not going to. So, we're gonna see how they write the story out, right?
I really do hope it's linear and doesn't have any Mass Effect type wheels in it. Just this is the story, and this is basically the whole chunk of the part 2 of a trilogy. Mm-hmm. Then there's part 3, and then it ends off, and then you don't. I mean, you could do it Uncharted 4, but cap it off. Because I think Naughty Dog has a good idea on how long their games should be, and if they do want stuff, they generally do spin-offs or DLC expansions.
But yeah, they've capped off stuff pretty well with the Uncharted series. They better not bring Nathan Drake back. Shit.
Yeah, and overall, it's Naughty Dog. They have a good reputation with their storytelling. Overall, there hasn't been a game that I kind of grew up not playing Uncharted, The Last of Us, God of War, sadly. So, I kind of been, I kind of messed up, right? But I do know from the reputation that I hear that most of their games are practically always successes, and overall the storytelling is pretty good. So I kind of have faith, now replaying everything, it's gonna, where they're gonna go with this one. Someone who hasn't played their games, but it's just hearing what people have said, I think overall it's going to work out really well for them.
I'm excited. I'm excited for Last of Us. I'm excited for E3. Anyways, I think we're thumbs up, gentlemen. I'm going to see most of you, save for Spectre, Rip, at E3. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
I'm broke. I can't help it.